Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is finally time. The anticipation is finally over, and we are here today at South Boston Speedway to kick things off with the series premiere of the NASCAR Fastenal Cup Series. This is going to be my very first time ever doing something like this. I have never done anything like this on this channel, but I feel like I should finally get one of these done before Racing Energy 12 Enterprises Incorporated finally defunct at the end of this year. So, without any further ado, we're going to kick things off by having an exhibition race like what I mentioned before in the information video, saying that there was going to be a Busch Light Clash at the end before the start of the season. And here we are now. The anticipation is finally over, and we are about to kick things off with the very first race of the NASCAR Fastenal Cup Series, the Busch Light Clash, here at South Boston Speedway. The 22 drivers are already on track, and we're going to be taking a look at your starting lineup here at South Boston Speedway for the Busch Light Clash. Today's pole sitter here for the Busch Light Clash is going to be Kyle Busch in the number 8 zone Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. And on the outside pole position is going to be Carson Hocevar in the number 77 Debridge Chevrolet. In real life Clash winner Chase Elliott's also going to be starting third on the inside of row number 2. And then Martin Truex Jr. in the number 19 and 4th on the outside. Then there's Bubba Wallace on the inside of row number 3 in the number 23. And there's Austin Cindric in the number 2 for Team Penske, driving the 2 discount tire Ford Mustang. Then it's Austin Dillon in the number 3, starting on the inside of row 4. And then Daniel Hemrick, a major surprise, on the outside of row number 4. And then Christopher Bell starting 9th here today on row 5. And then right next to him, Shane Van Gisbergen in the number 91 Red Bull Chevrolet, a full-time driver that will be racing in this season. Todd Gilliland in the number 38 on the inside of row 6, and then Joey Logano in the number 22, everyone's favorite nerd. Then there's Chris Busch in the number 17, also driving the Fastenal car, and then there's Ross Chastain in the number 1 on the outside of row number 7. Then there's Noah Gragson on the inside of row 8 and 15th in the number 10, and then right next to him, Danny Hamlin in the FedEx Freight Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Row 9 on the inside is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the number 47, and then right next to him, Tyler Reddick in number 45 on the outside. Big name deep in the field in 19th is Kyle Larson, deep in the field on the second to last row. Not a great qualifying for Kyle Larson, but hopes to get back up to the front. And then right beside him, Ty Gibbs in the number 54. And then Michael McDowell in the number 34 in the outside of row number 11. And finally, Cody Ware in the 51. Yes, he's actually here, and he will be racing in the Busch Light Clash. Now, you could probably tell that there is some drivers that is currently missing in this pack, and that's because they are. These are the drivers that were unfortunately not lucky enough to make the show during the draw. We got some pretty noticeable drivers in the field that didn't even make the field. For example, Brad Keselowski, RFK Racing. Alex Bowman, one of the Hendrick Motorsport drivers, didn't even make the field. Ryan Blaney didn't even make the field. A lot of big namers actually did not make the show here today. And that's because, unfortunately, all of these drivers that you're seeing were unfortunately not drawn during our random draw live stream back in April. And unfortunately, these drivers will not be participating in the Busch Light Clash here today. Now, since we got the starting lineup finally underway, let's get the engines fired up to get the Busch Light Clash started.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
A brilliant command here to kick things off here at South Boston Speedway. We're just going to dive right into it, as these drivers are going to have no pace laps here to start this thing off. So the pace car is already going to go down pit road, and we are going to get things started here at South Boston Speedway. The green flag is out, and we are officially racing. Kyle Busch trying to clear Carson Hocevar to get in front of him to lead the first lap, and he's going to do that. Kyle Busch, the pole sitter, is going to lead the first lap here today as he clears the 2 cars right behind him. He clears both Chase Elliott and Carson Hocevar and immediately pulls a 2-car length lead between the 2 cars. Busch has one of the best long-run cars out of the field today because he had the fastest practice lap and he had the fastest qualifying effort, obviously, as he won the pole. And immediately, Kyle Busch with a great lead early on in the making on just the 3rd lap. Now, there is actually something I do want to confess regarding about Kyle Busch. Remember when I did the information video about this series and how I said there was going to be a Busch Light Clash to kick things off? We did a live stream regarding about us drawing 22 drivers to make the field. We draw 21 from the boxes and we get to pick one regarding about the fan vote. Kyle Busch was not one of those 21 drivers that actually was drawn out of the box. As a matter of fact, he only got in because he won the fan vote. So, Kyle Busch has great fans here as he is racing here as the fan vote driver, as he is in front of the fan favorite Chase Elliott, as he is now currently in second place. You know, I find it very convenient that the driver that won the fan vote won the pole and is now currently leading right in front of the fan favorite Chase Elliott. But sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't. But Kyle Busch was able to get on to be on the right side of things this time. May not be IRL, but hey, at least he's having a strong start here of the season, and hopefully, I'm pretty sure like most Kyle Busch fans, hopefully he can have a great season this year, unlike what's going on IRL. Right now, Kyle Busch is smooth sailing with this lead as he now has officially a second lead over Chase Elliott already this early on in the making. 10 laps currently in here at the Busch Light Clash. The top three seems to have broken away from the remainder of the field, but there is a little bit of action currently going on mid-pack as you see them currently driving by. See, the 38 of Todd Gilliland was side by side with Daniel Hemrick. They were having a pretty tough battle, and this was for 8th place. And I know you guys might be saying this is something that Fox usually does. But hey, I'm not going to be trying to do the Fox allegations here. I'm also going to try to get every single action I can here, because obviously this is the very first time. So if this ends up being Fox, then it's my own fault. So far, it's still a clean race here at South Boston, as there is a couple of interesting battles currently going on mid-pack. Like, for example, there's Christopher Bell. He's currently side by side right now with Tyler Reddick, and Tyler Reddick still coming out in front of Christopher Bell, but Christopher Bell doesn't look like he's breaking away from Tyler Reddick. He is trying to get a lot of run. He does have Noah Gradson right behind him, but Tyler Reddick has his boss man Danny Hamlin giving him the push, and now you can see Tyler Reddick now clearly going out in front of Christopher Bell and clears him. But Christopher Bell seems like to me he was having at least a run to get past the 45, but now he's being challenged by his teammate Danny Hamlin in the number 11. But it definitely looks like there's something going on with the 20 of Christopher Bell, because he has been falling like a rock currently right now. He's starting here in the 9th position, and now he's currently listed in 14th. He's lost 5 positions since the start of this race, and right now Christopher Bell is going backwards, and this is not something that you want to see earlier on in this race. So far, it's still smooth sailing for Kyle Busch in the number 8, as he has led all 17 laps so far here since the start of this race, and he also has a nearly 2-second lead over the 9 of Chase Elliott in second place. But right now, as you can see right there, that car that Kyle Busch is approaching is the 51 of Cody Ware, and that is also a lap traffic car. That could be an opportunity for Chase Elliott to get closer to Kyle Busch, for him to close the gap, so he could be in contention for the lead. But also, that last lap, Chase Elliott is faster than Kyle Busch by like 2 seconds. As you can see, Chase Elliott, you can see him creeping in the rearview mirror. He is closing in on Kyle Busch fast. It was a 1.6 second lead. Now he gained 0.05 of a second. It's now 1.1 between Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott. As we are now halfway throughout this race, we're going to be going to lap 21. And obviously, Chase Elliott, the fastest car on the track, because Kyle Busch cannot get in front of the 51 of the lap car of Cody Ware. This is why you're seeing Chase Elliott closing the gap on Kyle Busch very, very rapidly quick. What started out as a comfortable lead for Kyle Busch to now being in contention with the 9 of Chase Elliott, because now he is rapidly closing in. He's near on that bumper of the 8 of Kyle Busch. And not only that this is helping Chase Elliott in the 9 car a lot, but this is also helping out the drivers in the top 5. For example, Carson Hocevar, Martin Truex Jr., we've seen him closing in on the top 2 lap after lap. Now, Kyle Busch is just praying that he could somehow get away from the 9 and as well as the top 5 that is quickly approaching in. But he is still stuck behind the car that is in front of him. That's the 51 of Cody Ware. He cannot get in front of the lap car to put him a lap down. Now, this is also going to help the 77 and the 19. Now they are closing in rapidly fast. You can see the 77 creeping in on Chase Elliott to try to get past him for second. Martin Truex Jr. also with a little bit of help for him to get closer to the front. And boy, how the tables have turned here at South Boston Speedway, as now immediately we now have a 4-car tandem for the lead right now. You see Carson Hocevar now trying to get past the 9 of Chase Elliott for second. You definitely want to see that behind the mirror if you're Kyle Busch, but you do not want to see a lap car in front of you as well. That is one of the worst case scenarios that you can ever have while in a race car, as Carson Hocevar still trying to get in front of Chase Elliott for second, and it looks like he does. But he's not fully ahead of the 9 just yet. He has not cleared him away. But also, not only that, Carson Hocevar, he can now sniff the lead now. Just phenomenal racing here at South Boston Speedway for the Busch Light Clash here, as we are now closing in with 11 laps to go now. And look out, guys, don't look behind your mirror, because the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. has now put his name into the picture now. He is now trying to pass Chase Elliott for third, and it looks like he might, but they are still side by side right now. Chase Elliott still gets the run in front of him. Insane battles right now between the top 4 drivers: Busch, Hocevar, Elliott, Truex. Kyle Busch still trying to hold on to the lead to keep that perfect race going right now. Carson Hocevar now side by side with him. Kyle Busch will lead that lap. Now, with the help from Truex, Carson Hocevar edges out in front of Kyle Busch just a little bit. But look out! Look who's right behind them too! Bubba Wallace now puts his name into the mix now. There's now a 5-car tandem right now, and Austin Dillon trying to add his name into the mix. And as you can think, the climax couldn't get any more higher. We now have more exciting racing now between the top 6 now. As Carson Hocevar, you can clearly see, now takes the lead away. Martin Truex Jr. second, Kyle Busch falls back to 4th. And Kyle Busch is still right behind the 51 of Cody Ware. He still cannot get past him, but it looks like he does now. Kyle Busch finally gets in front of the 51, but still has a lot of work to do if he wants to pull a comeback. But it does look like it's going to be Carson Hocevar's race to lose, as we are coming with 5 laps to go now here at South Boston Speedway. Holy cow, what a crazy handful of laps as Carson Hocevar steals the show now, as he is now in contention to win the Busch Light Clash. But Martin Truex Jr. right now in second place has a 3-car length lead between Carson Hocevar. But Chase Elliott now still trying to steal second back away from him. Kyle Busch still trying to close in. The 9 gets in front of the 19, but he has not cleared him yet. He still is trying to get in front of the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. Still has a little bit of a run. And if we get away from this camera, and then we can see the action. Thanks, Fox. Now we can see that Chase Elliott now takes second away. Coming with 3 laps to go now. Kyle Busch now trying to get in front of Martin Truex Jr. for third. Now Chase Elliott can see Carson Hocevar in front of his windshield to possibly steal the win away, and did what he did early on this year in real life, and that's by winning the Busch Light Clash. But we're coming with 2 laps to go here at South Boston Speedway. This is going to be Carson Hocevar's race to lose, as we see Kyle Busch now battling Martin Truex Jr. for third. Here they come down the backstretch. Carson Hocevar maintaining the lead right now. Is now a 4-car length lead between him and Chase Elliott, as we are now going to see the white flag here at South Boston one more time around. After a crazy battle, Carson Hocevar is about to do something that he can't do in Cup IRL. As he comes out of the final 2 turns here at South Boston, Carson Hocevar comes out of nowhere and wins the Busch Light Clash here at South Boston Speedway. After an absolutely antsy battle between the top 4 guys, Carson Hocevar steals the show and ends up getting the dub here at South Boston Speedway. An unbelievable way to kick things off here for the NASCAR Fastenal Cup Series. Absolute triumph for the underdog, but heartbreak for the veteran. Kyle Busch, who led 31 laps, loses one after he couldn't get him past the lap car of Cody Ware. I'm sure a lot of Kyle Busch fans were definitely disappointed with the result. And also, no offense to those Kyle Busch fans, but that pretty much summarizes the luck that he has been having so far IRL. And I guess here in virtual reality, I guess luck isn't on his side at all. even in virtual reality. Well, let's take a look at the results here for the Busch Light Clash. What looked like it was going to be a typical IRL short track race in the NASCAR Cup Series turned into a phenomenal battle between the top 6 guys, with Carson Hocevar shocking everybody by winning the race here at South Boston. Chase Elliott come home in the second place position. Major heartbreak for the 8 of Kyle Busch. He comes home in third here today. Led 31 laps, but unfortunately, that lap call of Cody Ware really cost him the victory there, with the lead and ultimately the win slipping away from his fingers. Martin Truex Jr. rounds up in fourth. How about this? The 2 of Austin Cindric also coming home in the top 5 as well in the 5th place position. Impressive one for Austin Cindric. And Daniel Hemrick also having an impressive run as well, coming home in the 6th place position, so a solid day for Daniel Hemrick. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Todd Gilliland, Tyler Reddick also in the top 10. Austin Dillon, who was up there in the top 6, trying to put his name into the picture for the lead, but fell all the way to the 10th place position, still rounding up in the top 10, but tough break for the 3 of Austin Dillon. Bubba Wallace, who was also in contention for the lead, also fell back into 11th place position. So a tough break for Bubba Wallace as well, as he doesn't even get a top 10 after today, after he was in the top 5 in the closing laps. Danny Hamlin did not have a great day today. We didn't even talk about him. We didn't even talk about Chris Buescher. Christopher Bell, who started 9th, fell to 14th, so a pretty tough break for him. Shane Van Gisbergen, Noah Gragson, Joey Logano, not a pretty good day for him either, as well as Ross Chastain, Ty Gibbs, Michael McDowell, Kyle Larson, coming off with a sour finish in 21st, second to last. That is not what you want to see if you're the 5 of Kyle Larson. And of course, as we talked about, Cody Ware in the 51, which ultimately did cost Kyle Busch's chances of victory, and that's why we saw that amazing battle between the top 6 drivers. But what if? What if Kyle Busch was able to get past the 51 of Cody Ware sooner instead of all of that calamity breaking out? Major heartbreak again for the 8 of Kyle Busch. And just like that, the Busch Light Clash is now in our rearview mirror. We want to thank you all so much for tuning in to watch this race with us this evening. Obviously, the next race will be our first points-paying race. And that's, of course, going to be the Daytona 500 at Daytona International Speedway. We hope to see you guys then. Sorry about the little absence about this race. I did have a lot of stuff come into mind, but finally I was able to get this thing done. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and until next time, we'll see you guys at the Daytona 500. God bless you, and I hope you guys have a safe rest of your night. Good night, y'all.